Hey guys, it's Leanne, the Photoshop Queen of Schmoville. I'm here to give you a review on last night's episode of the Schmoes Know Podcast from October the 3rd, 2013. We are swinging into October in a big way in Schmoville. Last night's episode was dedicated to the end of Breaking Bad. The second hour was nothing but Breaking Bad, but we'll get there in a minute. Um, as usual, Christian Harloff was there, Mark Ellis was there, producer extraordinaire Ken Knapsack was there, Josh McCouga was keeping things in check in the back and tweeting like crazy. Mark Riley was there, and also the illustrious Tiffany Smith, who always brings that lovely charm to Schmoville. The first hour, basically, you want to say a lot of people were guesting on the podcast last night. To start with, you had Iliza Schlesinger. I hope I said her name right. She is funny as hell. Truly, very gifted comedian. Um, just very, very funny. But she also brought this kind of realism to the podcast because she actually was telling, was questioned about a joke that was done on Saturday Night Live that she actually originated. Um, and there's a question about whether Saturday Night Live kind of, stole the joke. It was cool how she did address it. I think comedians are in a really precarious place that they pretty much can't do anything if somebody decides they want to steal a joke. And there's a lot of dishonest comedians out there that will do that, which is really a shame for the people who, literally do this and they write these jokes and everything. But she brought a really fresh perspective to it. And, she didn't have like a lot of, sour grapes that you thought she would with something like that. But other than that, she's funny as hell. Her and Ellis get along great. I do believe she introduced him to Thai food, which is, fantastic. Way to broaden his horizons a little bit. Love you, Ellis. Just kidding. Um, then Clare Grant came on, and she's doing a movie called Big Ass Spiders, a movie that I am guaranteed never to see in this lifetime. I am petrified of spiders, and the thought of sitting in a theater watching something like this that gets as big as the Empire State Building is freaking me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Claire actually was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was Glory, which was very cool to kind of see this because I was a huge fan of Buffy, and seeing somebody who was part of that, and she's just very matter of fact talking about it. It's it was a a time in her life. She had a great time on it. Speaks very fondly about it, which is cool to share with fans. In the middle of when she was there, Sean Astin called in. Sean is he's a real smart guy. He hosts a show called Vox Populi, and it's if you're really into political discussions and everything, you need to listen to this guy because he really does know what he's talking about. And he's not just, like an actor that has a pet project. He really gets into this, which is very cool. So he called in. He's actually doing a Kickstarter campaign. He's raised something like $15,000 in a matter of days. He's just a real smart guy, and it's always great when he calls in because he brings something like another level to the podcast and to the conversations that are had. And Schmoville just adores the guy. He's a great guy. The second part of the podcast was dedicated to Breaking Bad. I'm not going to spoil anything for those people who have not seen it, for those people like me who are in the middle of seeing it for the first time. Um, it was kind of like I was listening to it, but I was kind of like, I hate to say pulling a Katie Sackhoff and la 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 la. I'm not listening to this. But these guys are so passionate about Breaking Bad that it's almost one of these you want to hear what they have to say because their opinions are very intelligent about it. It's not your typical, oh my god, I just love the show because I love the show. I mean, they have good reasons behind why they like the things that they do. Um, so that went the rest of the time on the show. Um, as always, the show is a lot of fun. A lot of good, jokes and they banter back and forth and everything like that. I can never recommend these guys enough to, if you want to listen to something that you're just going to enjoy, you're going to flat out enjoy. This is what you want to listen to, okay? We found out that, next week, Mark's not going to be there. Tiffany's not going to be there, so we're going to have Bonnie Somerville back for round 3 of the ongoing saga between Bonnie and Christian and the potential for the video that's out there. So that should be very interesting to see where we're going with that. But as is a typical Schmoes Know podcast, I always love what these guys do. I think I'm a little bit biased, but I will give an honest opinion that I would give it, probably 3.75 out of 5 schmoes, simply because I didn't want to listen to a whole lot of the end part of it because of the spoilers. And in their defense, and it's not really defense, this is what they do. They told everybody it was going to be spoiler heavy, so you did not walk into this knowing that, oh my God, how dare you ruin this for me, for if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard what happened. So it was a very spoiler heavy ending, but 3.75 out of 5 schmoes. Just a solid podcast like always. Can't wait for next week. Looking forward to seeing the sparklers fly on that one because that's going to be down and dirty. Anyway, this is Leanne, Photoshop Queen of Schmoville. Y'all have a great night. Peace out.